Hello, Roman. Welcome back to the series of videos Neural Networks from Scratch in Golang, where we're using the book called Neural Networks from Scratch in Python, but we're writing everything with the Golang. And I skipped one video last week. There was no video on the Saturday. Yeah, on the Saturday. So this one will go tomorrow, which will be on Monday. And yeah, currently I'm on the saving and loading the model into the file. I'm researching the saving and loading into the JSON. And yeah, I had to skip the recording of one day, but meanwhile, I've been working on some infrastructure and some other code to actually produce with this one. First, I actually started to implement this model, I'll call it JSON model data provider. So the idea that I will load everything into the JSON and then load back. Had couple of how it's called experiments with what I'm going to do. I tried to going through the layer and make the layer on the interface, then take the type and with the reflection and then construct something. So it didn't work well so far, but that's fine. But what I started to create the marshaling, and I will go from the, now if we will represent the current data structure, the current model data structure is 3. As one of the leaves will be the dense class with dense track, which I'm using a lot, as you can see. I mean, this one, not how I can show okay, yeah, just take a look how often it's used. So there are a bunch of the places where it's actually used, and it is the main way how we started the weights, some of the all of the parameters that's used during the training in the backward path. They all started in that then. So I started to implement the marshaling, and basically I can prove this one. Basically, how I decided to go this, I will start to implement some wrappers around concrete structs, and then I will just use them to construct the whole model into the JSON and marshal it again. So there are various questions I have. For the dense wrapper, this is basically the wrapper for the dense struct, and I will show you how it works. Well, this is the first thing. Second thing, I actually started to add tests. So you can see that there is the, for example, dense test and the layer test. And you can I can debug tests, etc. And I actually spent quite some time fixing some of the configs in the Novim because I wasn't able, for example, to properly debug the tests. And I actually found out that I had the LSP configuration and DAP, I think, written in the wrong way. So it actually used only the default config from the lazy beam. So this is why I wasn't able to actually change some things, because I tried it in the past and I didn't understand why it's not working. Turns out it was my config was structured in incorrect way. So yeah, this is, for example, the code for marshaling and marshaling into JSON of dense. So the idea is that I have the dense wrapper data with values with the rows and the calls, and that's basically all it's needed to marshal it. And yeah, here I'm using the default JSON marshal with the attributes. I've been reading this whole documentation how to do this. So for example, we have a dense wrapper. We just create a dense wrapper around any of the dense values. Then I take the one-dimensional array that lies inside the dense. I'm taking the rows and columns. I'm creating the wrapper, and I then marshal it into the JSON bytes array. Same for the marshaling. Yeah, I'm just creating the struct. Then I use on marshal and put the pointer of reference to the struct. If the marshaling was okay, then we can actually allocate the dense value with a new dense function that's that. And I have a test. So right now we have a dense marshaling, and what it does, I'm creating an array of 3 values. I'm creating the testing dense wrapper from the dense, and then I'm trying to call the marshal JSON directly. This is what I didn't like, because I thought that, for example, if I will do marshal and then pass the test value, it will use this function. Turns out it's not. So, you know, I thought that maybe I can do this in a way that, for example, I have a custom struct, and there are 2 options. I can annotate them with the JSON attribute, or I can implement the text marshaling, and it will be used instead. Unfortunately not, or at least I didn't find a way to use it, so I need to call this marshal directly. And this is simple, you know, if there is an error, fail the test, then try to unmarshal it, and then I'm comparing element wise, they should be identical. Well, I mean, or if I will have something, you know, like, you know, 22 divided by 7, something like, you know, this, then probably it will unmarshal it differently because of the differences of the division and how it will marshal it into the string. So, but what we can do, and I changed the configs in some places. In this one, no. Go tests. Yeah, what I don't understand is how to run all of the tests from the command line. So, okay, for the marshaling, I have one test, and that's okay. So the next thing, I need to implement actually a layer wrapper. I mean by this one. And there are a couple of things that I will need to store. So I will need to store weights, biases, and L1 and L2 regalizer. And that should be, because for example, we removing the inputs, outputs, the inputs, the weights, the biases. So this is remove. Cache, I'm not sure used by, so this is used by optimizer, and this is the, no, I think this is the question of how I'm going to use the model. I will go with the way that I will use the loading of the model just for the inference. So in that case, I actually don't need these momentums. But if I will want to store the model like a check marks, checkpoints for further training, for the further training, then probably I will need one. So basically, in my case, I need only these 2 for the wrapper. Right? So then wrapper in this one. How I would do this? I think that should be not the main layer, right? And then what I will do, I will do something like this, right? But instead it will be layers wrapper, and this one will be layer wrapper, right? Then we remove this and remove this one. So basically I need to have the weights, and again I need to implement type S for layer wrapper data, right? And it will have weights and biases as dense wrapper, right? Dense wrapper, and that will be weights, right? And this one will be biases. So that means I'm creating the data, layer wrapper data, and it will be the weights, which will be the dense wrapper from value weights, right? And then we have biases, that's the dense wrapper, dense value bias. Okay, then dr equal to JSON Marshall data, right? If r not equal to nil, not enough values. Actually, yeah, much easier. So I just return JSON Marshall from the data, and that's it, right? Same here. Actually, that will be no. The unmarshalling will be actually a little bit different. So what I need to do. So wrap air JSON unmarshal data, right? If air turn air and yeah, wrap equal to layer wrapper data, then we pass in the reference to wrap, this one. Okay, if everything is good, then we everything is good, we need to create a layer which will be layer dot layer, right? Then layer weights equals to wrap weights dense, right? So layer biases equals to wrap biases dense. Then we have value layer equal to layer, and then we return nil. I do not call the initialization method that I have here. Oh, and I actually need to store the regolizer. L1, L2, that will be layer regolizer. Okay, I will probably continue not to mess with the original data, so I will create something like regularizer wrapper. Okay, and that will be, what is this? Weights and bias. And what is this? Float. Okay. Weight. Float 64. JSON. Weight and bias. Again, block 64. Bias. Okay, and then it means I have L1 regulate the wrapper. L2, we remove this. Then here it's L1 and here L2. What it means? It means, okay, I need to L1 is regularize the wrapper. Weights. Well, yeah, L1 weights bias value. Okay, then how we initialize? So we have the layer, we have L1, right, and it will be wriggle layer wriggle up. Weights will be wrap L1 weight bias wrap L1 bias. What do you mean? So the type. Okay. Two. Okay. Okay, that looks like what I need. Okay. Test layer marshaling. Okay. Actually thinking that I need another initialize method, but that will load data from, no, it will take the weights and biases L1 and L2. because I will, well, I will need it. Load from params. What I will have? I will have the weights, maintenance, biases. Then I will have L1, L and L2 regulator, and that should be fine. Don't need this. That will be L1, will be L2, right? Then basic layers, weights, the weights layer, biases equal to biases. Actually, I will probably better do this dense copy of weights and dense copy of biases. Okay, so looks layer test. Layer. Okay, so we have the layer, which will be a layer that's layer, right? Let's do this. Let's do weights to make float 64, for example, 10, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 0.4, 1 minus 1e minus 5, 6, this one, okay. And we have biases, kinda same, float 64, I know, 0.0, 0.1, 0.2. I mean, since I'm testing this serialization, I actually don't care about the what's called logical meaning of this. And then, for example, L load from params, and that's I will do maths new dense, for example, 2, 5 weights, right? Then maths new dense 1, 3 biases. Then I have the regulator, for example, empty one, and I have regulator, for example, weight of 0.1, bias, no, 2. Then there you go to layer wrapper, layer equal to L, right? What in this? Cannot call pointer method. Why? Cannot call pointer method marshal JSON. Okay, wrap, for example, layer wrapper, layer L, then go to wrap marshal JSON, okay, if error equal nil t error is error, right? T, do I need, can I print? Oh, it's a lock. string from D, right? Then what I assume on what's called loaded wrap equal to layer wrapper. Then I do JSON on Marshall have D, and I have loaded wrap again. If it's looks like is equal. Can I do this? For example, if not is equal between the weights and loaded wrap weight, this one, 20 error new errors new wrong incorrect data loaded, and then I do the same incorrect weights loaded, correct biases, right? Then I have biases, and again okay, then I assume if loaded wrap layer L1 not L2 bias is not equal to 2.0, again incorrect, L2 is loaded. Okay. No, okay. Error. Panic. Zero right. Weights white biases are empty. Yeah, this is because I need to load it wrap on Marshall D and like this, right? Wait, that should be correct. Once again, fail. Okay, imported but not used. Okay, they're still not. Marshall, okay. As this one. Yeah, I know that's the problem, but it's not calling this one. Yeah, if we take a look, no, I don't panic. I mean, then I don't know how to. This is. Then how am I supposed to do this? Okay. If an encounter value implements the marshal interface and is not a nil pointer, marshal calls marshal JSON method to produce JSON. If no marshal JSON method is present but the value implements encoding text marshal instead, marshal calls its marshal text method and constant result to JSON string. The nil pointer exception is not necessary by. Okay, so I need the marshal JSON, right? I have the marshal JSON. Maybe I implemented incorrectly. Okay, what if we do this? Okay, so that should be like this. So you want to tell me that this one is actually... Okay, let's load that wrap L2 bias equals to 0. So will it fail? Rows 2 calls 5 biases. Okay. That was just the incorrect. Okay, so actually, so it looks like I have the marshaling of the this testing works. So I have the marshaling of the layer, well, of the dense layer, right? What it means, if I will go to the model, yeah, that are some of my experiments. Let's try. Layers wraps was to make layer marshaling layer wrap, and that would be len of model layers for now, where I'm using it. Let's just for the test. Wraps, okay, for I don't need index item range model layers if log equals to what's called item dot layer dot layer, right? Then layers wrap append, that will do layer wrapper layer, and that will be L. Ok. Layer doesn't implement layer interface. Are you sure? Backward method has Really? Forward with the pointer receive. Wait. Okay, and then gonna use. Okay, we have the layers wrap and roots track Golang nameless track anonymous. Okay, structs, and I have the layers, which will be the marshaling marshaling layer layer wrapper JSON layers, and then I have the layer layers layer. Okay, then dr equal to JSON marshal root and d print string from d. Clear make run. Why have this strange? How many layers we have? Well, this is kind of strange. We have 2, okay. So that should be 2 wraps, right? No. Yeah, this is... Where did you get it? Yeah, this is me being stupid because I use an append that should be empty. That should be like this, right? Okay, have the layers, weights. We have weight. And basically layer wrapper could be not here, and we have type string JSON type, right? And then here it will be reflect type of value layer string, right? Layer.layer. Okay. Okay, basically this will be the hierarchy that I will follow right now I have the, well, I need to check the marshaling, but with the types actually, yeah. I will write the code only for first model for the run, what was called run fashion for the Menis model. And basically it means that I will implement layer, relu activation, softmax activation, cross entropy loss, and categorical accuracy. And that's it for now. The main idea is to understand what I need to load and unload. There is a chance that I would not need all of this, right? Accumulated loss, etc. And I think that was discussed before. If I really need reset accumulated values in loss and accuracy. So basically I just don't need to store all of this for the loss, which means that I can just store type and then, you know, check if the loss type string is this one, then instantiate this type of the loss. Same for the accuracy, I think. Yes, accuracy the same. So with the accuracy that is easier. With the optimizer might be trickier. Yeah, with optimizer I will need to store a bunch of the things. I'm not sure about the learning rate. This basically, yeah, but okay, looks like I need to store all of the things. The only question is the number of the iterations. With the optimizer, I don't think it's mentioned. Okay, so there is no things related to optimizer, which means that the optimizer will be stored fully with the iterations, right? So I need to, that should be this, and it should be stored, right? We'll need to store all of this for, yeah, but for the loss, and that will be easier. For the softmax activation, outputs, the inputs, looks like just the name again, and then I can instantiate the softmax, which will be basically, the idea will be that the layers object. So we have, for example, weights, biases, L1, L2, and the type, and then we just check for the type. Probably it will have the different structure, so we'll have the type and the value. And for example, for the dense layer class, it will hold the value, these values, and the type will be on the top level, so I can unmarshal it, because I will need to unmarshal it manually. But that's fine. I will continue tomorrow. I will, continue doing some things in between just to move faster with this one, because I already spent a lot of time doing dense layer. No, spent a lot of the time fixing this, right? But yeah, that's fine. Thank you for watching, and I see you tomorrow. Bye bye.